The screen door slammed behind me like a gunshot in the sticky July heat. And there she was, Karen, queen of the cul-de-sac, her face twisted into a mask of suburban fury, clutching a clipboard like it was a loaded pistol. "You think you can just waltz into our neighborhood and ignore the rules, boy?" she spat, her voice slicing through the cicada hum, close enough that I could smell her Chanel No. 5 mixed with desperation. In that split second, as her finger jabbed at my chest, I realized this wasn't about dues anymore. It was about everything I'd been running from, crashing right into the one place I'd hoped to call home. I backed up a step, my sneakers crunching on the gravel path I just laid down myself, the one that violated her precious HOA bylaws because, hell, who needs uniformity when you're trying to build something real? My heart hammered not from fear. Nah, I'd faced worse in the dive bars of Austin back when I was figuring out who I was. But from the raw ache of it all. This was Evergreen Estates, a cookie-cutter paradise in the rolling hills outside Nashville, Tennessee, where every lawn was manicured to military precision and every fence hid secrets sharper than barbed wire. I'd moved here 3 months ago, chasing a ghost of a dream. Stability, after years of bouncing between gigs as a freelance graphic designer, sleeping on couches that smelled like regret. Karen's eyes narrowed, those ice blue chips scanning me like I was a weed in her prize rose garden. "Logan Hale, isn't it? The new renter on Maple Lane. Your landlord forgot to mention your, you know." She let the words hang, laced with that southern passive aggression that could curdle milk, her gaze flicking to the rainbow flag I'd hung crookedly on my porch rail, fluttering like a defiant heartbeat in the breeze. "I'm paying my rent on time," I said, keeping my voice steady, hands shoved in the pockets of my jeans to hide the tremble. "And last I checked, love who you love isn't against the covenants." She laughed, a brittle sound that echoed off the identical vinyl siding of the houses lining the street. "It's not about that, sweetheart. It's about the dues, the community pool fund, the holiday lights committee. You're late again and now you've got that eyesore of a fire pit in your yard. We have standards here." Her clipboard thrust forward, a printed notice slapping against my chest. "Final warning. Violation of Section 4.2. Unauthorized landscaping alterations. $500 fine, immediate payment required." I snatched it, crumpling the edge without meaning to. Standards, right? Like the ones that let her patrol the block at dawn. Notepad in hand, citing folks for daffodils that bloomed too yellow. I'd heard the whispers at the local coffee shop, how she'd run off the last queer couple with complaints to code enforcement until they packed up for Chattanooga. But I wasn't them. I had Hunter now, or at least the promise of him, and that made me dig in my heels. Hunter. God, even thinking his name sent a spark through the knot in my gut. We'd met at that hole-in-the-wall barbecue joint on the edge of town, the kind with peanut shells on the floor and Dolly Parton crooning from the jukebox. He was the bartender, all broad shoulders and easy grins, with hazel eyes that crinkled when he laughed and a tattoo of a compass rose peeking from his sleeve. Pointing north, he said, toward whatever came next. "What's a city boy like you doing in these parts?" he'd asked, sliding me a whiskey neat without me ordering it, his fingers brushing mine just long enough to make the world tilt. "Trying not to drown," I'd replied, and that was that. 3 weeks of stolen evenings. Him teaching me to two-step in his cramped apartment above the bar, me sketching his profile on napkins while he poured drafts for the after-work crowd. He wasn't out to everyone. Not yet. But with me he was real, unguarded, whispering stories of growing up in the shadow of his preacher dad. The weight of expectations that had him enlisting in the army right out of high school just to breathe. "You're my north now, Logan," he'd murmured one night, his head on my chest, the summer rain pattering against the window like applause. But Evergreen wasn't forgiving like Hunter's quiet strength. It was a machine, oiled by potlucks and passive smiles, grinding down anything that didn't fit the mold. Karen stepped closer, her sensible flats scuffing my gravel. "Pay up by Friday, or I'll have the board revoke your lease. And tell your little friend to watch his speed on the cul-de-sac. We don't need accidents drawing attention." My little friend, Hunter. He'd been crashing at my place most nights, his truck parked crooked in the driveway, a beacon for her busybody patrols. I swallowed the retort, burning my tongue. Something about her husband's rumored affair with the golf pro, and forced a nod. Noted. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a life to live. She huffed, turning on her heel with the dramatic flair of a soap opera villain, her bob haircut swinging like a pendulum. As she marched back to her McMansion, clipboard aloft like a scepter, I leaned against the porch post, the notice fluttering to the ground. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges, and for a moment, I let myself imagine packing it all up, me and Hunter, heading west to some nowhere town where HOAs were just bad acronyms and love didn't come with fine print. But running wasn't us. Not anymore. I pulled out my phone, thumbing a text to Hunter. Karen just served me papers. Thinks we're her personal crusade. Dinner still on. Need your face. His reply buzzed back almost instant. Hell yes. Bringing ribs. We'll fight this with sauce and spite. A laugh bubbled up, easing the tightness in my chest. Yeah. We would. That night, under the string lights I'd strung across the backyard despite the no overhead lighting after dusk rule, we ate on mismatched lawn chairs, ribs dripping with that sweet Tennessee tang, Hunter's knee pressed warm against mine. He wiped sauce from my chin with his thumb, lingering there, his touch a promise. She's all bark, Lo. Grew up with her type. Women who knit Afghans but unravel lives. His voice was low, gravelly from a long shift, but his eyes held that fire, the kind that made me believe in second acts. I told him about the notice, the veiled threats, and he listened, really listened, his hand finding mine across the plate of cornbread. You're not alone in this, he said finally, squeezing. Not anymore. We didn't talk strategy. Not yet. Just let the crickets chorus our silence. His head eventually dropping to my shoulder as the stars wheeled overhead. In that pocket of peace, Evergreen felt less like a trap and more like a stage, where we could rewrite the script. But scripts have twists. The next morning, as I brewed coffee strong enough to wake the dead, my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Hale? This is Officer Ramirez with the County Sheriff's Office. We've had a complaint filed against you regarding threats and harassment in your neighborhood. Mind coming down to the station to discuss? My mug slipped, shattering on the tile. Threats? Me? The world tilted again. Sharper this time, and I glimpsed Karen's silhouette through the blinds, watching from her kitchen window like a hawk. This wasn't dues anymore. This was war. The station smelled like stale donuts and regret, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry hornets. Officer Ramirez, a no-nonsense Latina with a bun tight as her bunched jaw, slid a statement across the Formica table. Mrs. Whitaker, your neighbor, says you accosted her yesterday, used language threatening her safety, mentions your orientation as a factor in her fear. I stared at the paper, the words blurring. Accosted? I'd barely raised my voice. That's bullshit, I said, then winced. Professionalism, Logan. I mean, she came to my door, served me a fine for landscaping I did with permission. I asked her to leave. That's it. Ramirez's pen tapped, her eyes assessing. Permission? From who? The HOA board. From my landlord. And Hunter, my partner. He helped dig the path. Saying it out loud, partner, felt like armor even here. She nodded, jotting notes. We'll need his statement too. And hers, of course. But Logan's got history. Filed complaints against previous tenants. Says you're part of some gang disrupting the peace. Ring any bells? A gang. Jesus. In my head, it clicked. The gang she meant was us. The handful of outsiders who'd trickled into Evergreen over the years. The single mom with the food truck parked in her garage. The retired vet who flew a Black Lives Matter flag. And now, me and Hunter, two gay guys daring to love in plain sight. Not a gang, just people refusing to fade into beige. By the time I left, statement signed and a vague, "We'll investigate," hanging in the air. The noon sun beat down like judgment. Hunter met me in the parking lot, his truck idling, face thunderous. What the hell, Lo? She called the cops on you? I slid into the passenger seat, the AC blasting blessed cool. Yeah, twisted the whole thing. Thinks we're organized crime or something. He peeled out, knuckles white on the wheel. This ends now. I'm calling my buddy at the county records office. We'll bury her in paperwork. But as we sped back to the neighborhood, Evergreen's welcome sign looming like a false smile. Home is where the heart is. I felt the first crack in our foundation. Hunter's jaw was set, but his eyes darted to the rear view, as if expecting sirens. Was this what love looked like here? Constant vigilance, love letters in the form of legal threats? That afternoon, we holed up in the living room, fans whirring against the heat, combing through HOA bylaws on my laptop. Hunter's leg bounced, a telltale sign of his unease. Look at this, Section 7.3. Discrimination prohibited. We could countersue for harassment. I leaned into him, inhaling the faint scent of his cologne, cedar and smoke. You're all in. He turned, cupping my face, his thumb tracing my jaw. Lo, from the second you walked into that bar, spilling your beer and charming the hell out of me, I'm in. All the way. His kiss was soft, sealing the vow, but underneath it, I tasted the salt of unspoken fears, his family's legacy, the army scars that woke him gasping some nights. We drafted a letter to the board, polite but pointed, CCNG the landlord and Ramirez. Sent it off with a click that felt like dropping a gauntlet. Dinner was takeout Thai, spicy enough to burn away the day's bile, and we laughed over episodes of Schitt's Creek. David and Patrick's easy affection a bomb. But as Hunter dozed against me on the couch, his breath steady, I stared at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, wondering if Karen was just the face of something bigger. The neighborhood wasn't a home yet. It was a battlefield, and we were the interlopers. 2 days later, the retaliation came swift as a summer storm. A notice on the door. Eviction proceeding initiated a violation of lease addendum re. HOA compliance. My landlord, old Mr. Hargrove, called apologetic but firm. Sorry, son. Board pressure. Karen's got pull. Her husband's on the city council. Hunter paced the kitchen, phone to his ear, arguing with his records buddy. What do you mean, no priors? Everyone knows she's done this before. He hung up, slamming a fist on the counter. She's clean on paper. Teflon witch. I sank into a chair, the fight leaching out. Maybe we leave. Find a place in East Nashville, artsy, no rules. His face crumpled, just for a second, before he masked it with that soldier's resolve. Run? No. This is our stand, low. For us. For every kid back home who hid who they were. He knelt before me, hands on my knees, eyes fierce. I love you, and I fight for what I love. Love. There it was, the word we danced around, now laid bare like a live wire. I pulled him up, our foreheads touching, breaths mingling. I love you too, Hunt. Okay. We fight. But love, I was learning, wasn't just fireworks. It was the slow burn of compromise. The ache of standing side by side when the world pushed back. That night, as thunder rumbled distant, we made plans. Ally with the other gang members. Document everything. Call in favors. Evergreen might break us, but we'd go down swinging, hearts entwined. Little did I know the biggest swing was yet to come. From within. The potluck was Karen's masterpiece. A quarterly ritual in the community center that smelled like Jell-O molds and veiled barbs. I'd resisted going. Why feed the hand that slaps you? But Hunter insisted, his hand firm on the small of my back as we walked in, casserole dish of my mama's mac, and cheese balanced in my arms. Show him we're not scared, he murmured, his breath warm against my ear. Plus, free deviled eggs. The room buzzed with forced cheer. Retirees in polo shirts, moms corralling toddlers, dads nursing solo cups of sweet tea spiked with bourbon. And there, at the head table, Karen held court, her smile a blade sheathed in lipstick. Our eyes met across the folding chairs, and hers sharpened, flicking to Hunter beside me. Too close, our pinkies brushing. Logan! Hunter! So glad you could make it, she cooed, voice honey over gravel, extending a hand that I shook with the enthusiasm of a root canal. Heard about your little. Dust up. All sorted now, I hope. Hunter's grip on the dish tightened. Water under the bridge, ma'am. We're here to contribute. Her laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Contribute. Adorable. Sit over there by the Jensens. They're ever so welcoming to new folks. The Jensens. A bland couple in their 40s, him an accountant with a comb-over, her a PDA drone with highlights that screamed insecurity. We settled at their table, the Mac settling heavy in my stomach as small talk flowed like molasses. You boys from around here? Mrs. Jensen asked, her fork hovering over a congealing salad. Austin for me, I said. Hunter's Nashville born and bred. Ah, locals. That's nice. Mr. Jensen nodded, but his eyes darted to Karen, who was now regaling a cluster of blue hairs with tales of neighborhood vigilance. Keeps property values up, you know? Hunter's jaw ticked. Nothing like good neighbors to make a place feel like home. The evening dragged, a minefield of microaggressions. A sideways glance at our joined hands under the table. A whispered, they're so modern from an antitype. But then, salvation arrived in the form of Mia, the single mom from down the block, sliding into the seat across from us with a tray of brownies. Don't mind the vultures, she whispered, winking. Heard about your HOA tango. Welcome to the resistance. Mia was firecracker incarnate. Tattoos snaking up her arms, a food truck called Spice Nomad that slung fusion tacos to the lunch rush. Divorced, raising a tween son who blasted K-pop from her driveway. She'd been Karen's target last year over excessive vehicle parking. She's got a list, Mia said, popping a brownie. Us misfits. You're just the latest verse in her hymn of hate. Hunter leaned in, intrigued. A list? Like what, the naughty or nice roster? Worse. Spreadsheet. I saw it once. Undesirables with notes on how to drum 'em out. Mia's eyes sparkled with mischief. But we're fighting back. Group text chain. Next meeting's at my place tomorrow. You in? I glanced at Hunter, his nod subtle but sure. Hell yeah, I said. For the first time that night, the room felt less like a cage and more like an arena. Karen's gaze burned holes from across the way, but we ignored her, trading stories with Mia and a couple other listees. The vet, Jamal, with his BLM flag and a dry wit that cut deeper than sarcasm. The artist widow, Clara, whose murals on her garage door had sparked aesthetic violation fines. By the time we cleared plates, a quiet alliance had formed, threads weaving under the fluorescent hum. Driving home, windows down, country radio crooning George Strait, Hunter's hand found my thigh. That wasn't half bad. Felt normal. I covered his hand with mine. Normal's overrated. But this, us building something, that's gold. He pulled into the driveway, killing the engine under the moon's silver wash. Our kiss started sweet, a thank you for surviving the gauntlet, but deepened with the night's pent-up energy. His hands in my hair, my fingers tracing the ink on his arm. We broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed. You're my home, Lo, he whispered, wherever this mess leads. Inside, tangled on the couch, we didn't rush, just held on, mapping each other's scars with touches that said more than words. His from boot camp bruises and family fallout. Mine from exes who bailed when labels got too real. Love, we learned, was in the quiet mappings, the way he hummed off-key to my heartbeat. The next day dawned crisp, fall whispering at summer's edge, leaves turning gold like hope. Mia's group met in her backyard, a riot of potted herbs and wind chimes, her son glued to his switch inside. 7 of us circled mismatched chairs. Me, Hunter, Mia, Jamal, Clara, and 2 others. A quiet engineer named Raj and a fiery teacher, Lena. Okay, rebels. Mia started passing around printouts. Karen's playbook. Fines, complaints, isolation. Ours. Documentation, unity, escalation. We pored over the papers, photos of her inspections, emails to the board laced with dog whistles. Jamal had recordings of her rants at block parties, slurring those people with a venom that curdled. Harassment suit material, he said, voice steady as steel. Hunter flipped pages, his brow furrowed. Board stacked, her hubby, his golf buddies. But county oversight, that's our in. Ideas flew. Petition for board election, social media exposure, ally letters from local LGBTQ plus orgs. I sketched a logo on a napkin, a fist wrapped in a rainbow ribbon, captioned Evergreen United. Laughter bubbled when Clara suggested guerrilla art. Chalk outlines of HOA violations on sidewalks, fading with rain. By dusk, we had a plan. Hugs exchanged like battle oaths. Driving back, Hunter was quiet, thumb drumming the wheel. This feels big, Lo. Scary big. Yeah. I squeezed his knee. But good scary. Like jumping, knowing someone's got your hand. He smiled, that crinkle-eyed one that undid me. Always. But cracks spiderwebbed unseen. That night, as I edited the petition on my laptop, Hunter's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown. Careful, soldier. Some fights you can't win. Drop it or lose more than a lease. He paled, deleting it quick. Spam, he muttered, but his eyes were haunted. I let it slide, chalking it to stress, but sleep came fitful, dreams of cul-de-sacs turning to minefields. Morning brought escalation. Another notice, this time from the city. Cease and desist on the fire pit, citing fire code, dated the day after the potluck. Karen's fingerprint, smudged but clear. We rallied the group via text, meeting at Jamal's garage, tools and protest signs sharing space. She's panicking, Lena said, eyes alight. Means we're close. Hunter nodded, but his phone stayed face down, a shadow lingering. We drafted the petition, signatures trickling in from sympathetic neighbors who'd stayed silent too long. By week's end, 20 names, a third of the block. The board meeting was set for Friday, neutral ground in the community center. We prepped like soldiers. Talking points, evidence binders, moral high ground. Hunter and I rehearsed in the kitchen. Him playing devil's advocate with a southern drawl that cracked me up. Darlin', you can't just flaunt your lifestyle and expect leniency. I'd counter with facts, ending in a kiss that left us both grinning. We've got this, I'd say, and believe it. Friday arrived humid, thunderheads brooding. The center was packed, air thick with whispers. Karen sat front row, arms crossed, her husband beside her. Paunchy, red-faced, avoiding eyes. We filed in last, binder in hand, Mia at our flank. The chair, a retired banker named Ellis, called order. Item 4. Grievances re. HOA enforcement. Karen rose first, voice quivering artifice. This neighborhood is under siege, Mr. Chairman. Illicit gatherings, code violations, threats to our way of life. I move for immediate action against non-compliant residents. Murmurs rippled. Hunter's hand found mine under the table, squeeze fierce. Then Mia stood. With respect, ma'am, your enforcement borders on discrimination. We've documented patterns targeting families of color, single parents, LGBTQ plus folks. This petition calls for an independent audit. Gasped. The binder passed hand to hand, pages flipping. Karen's face modeled. Lies. Slander. They're the gang. Plotting to ruin us. Gang. There it was, spat like venom. Her husband shifted, uncomfortable. I rose then, voice steady. Mrs. Whitaker, your complaints started the day I hung my flag. Not dues me. Us. I gestured to Hunter, our linked hands visible. Evergreen's heart isn't in covenants. It's in people. Applause, scattered but growing. Ellis banged his gavel. Motion for audit tabled for vote next month. Meeting adjourned. Chaos erupted, hugs, backslaps. Karen storming out with a shriek. Outside, rain lashed down, but we danced in it. Hunter lifting me off my feet. Spin dizzying. We did it, Lo. But as we piled into his truck, soaked and triumphant, his phone lit up again. Unknown. You were warned. This time he showed me jaw set. Not spam. Fear coiled cold. Who? Why Hunter's line? Home, toweling off, I pressed. Hunt, talk. He sighed, sinking to the bed. My brother, ex-army, lives 2 blocks over. Karen's niece is his wife's bestie. He doesn't approve of me, us. Betrayal sharp as glass. Family, the one fracture I'd thought mended. He threatening you? Us. Says he'll go to my dad if we don't back off. His voice cracked. Boy lost in man. I pulled him close, rocking slow. Then we face it. Together. But together cracked that night. When Hunter's resolve wavered under midnight calls. His sleep fractured. Love's slow burn flickered. And I wondered if Evergreen would claim us both. The audit loomed like a storm front, 2 weeks out. But the real thunder brewed in Hunter's silences. Mornings, he'd wake with coffee ready, kiss my temple, routine armor. But his eyes were distant, scanning horizons I couldn't reach. Just work stress, he'd say, slinging his bar towel over his shoulder. But I knew the weight. Family, the invisible chains that had him shipping out at 18, only to return hollowed. I threw myself into the fight, coordinating with the group. Mia's truck became mobile HQ, tacos fueling strategy sessions in parking lots. Jamal dug up old complaints, Karen's history of anonymous tips to child services on Mia, noise violations on Clara's wind chimes at odd hours. Pattern of malice, Raj murmured. His engineer's precision turning chaos to charts. Lena rallied teachers from her school, petitions circulating like underground manifestos. Social media ignited slow. A Facebook group, Evergreen Allies. Posts of before and after finds. Memes of Karen as the HOA Hydra. Comments poured. Finally calling it out. From lurkers, stay strong from alums who'd fled. I designed graphics, bold colors against beige backdrops. Hunter's compass tattoo inspiring a logo variant. North to justice. Nights, he'd come home late, reeking of hops and regret, collapsing beside me with apologies. Crowd was rowdy. But once, slipping into bed, his phone buzzed, screen glow betraying a text. Dad knows. Lunch tomorrow. Fix this. From his brother, Cody. I pretended sleep, heart pounding. Fix what? Us. The fight? Him? Morning he dressed quick, avoiding my eyes. Family brunch. Won't be long. Want backup? I offered, casual. He hesitated, then shook his head. Better solo. Love you. The door clicked shut, leaving echo. I paced, brew turning bitter. Love you, 3 words, but laced with fracture. By noon, texts from Mia. Board leak. Karen pushing emergency vote to dissolve group. I rallied the crew, virtual war room buzzing. But my mind snagged on Hunter, on the boy he'd been, hiding crushes in barracks, coming out to a father who quoted Leviticus at dinner. He returned at dusk, face ashen, dropping keys like stones. Cody cornered me. Dad's furious. Says I'm stirring sin in the neighborhood, dragging the family name. He sank to the couch, head in hands. Wants me to quit the bar, move back home. Real job, real life. Rage flared, hot. And you? What do you want? His eyes met mine, raw. You low. This tearing him apart. Me leaving the army broke him. Now this. I knelt, hands on his. Your dad's issues aren't your chains. We choose our north. He pulled me up, embrace fierce, but whispered. What if choosing you costs him? The question hung, a guillotine. That night we made love. Not the urgent fire of early days, but slow, deliberate, mapping hurts with tenderness. His fingers traced my ribs, voice husky. You're my anchor, but anchors drag too. And as he slept, I lay awake, staring at shadows, fearing the tide pulling him under. The emergency vote was a farce, called in the church basement. Irony thick. Karen presiding like a televangelist. 10 board members, us observers crammed in back. She railed, this so-called alliance undermines our Christian values, promotes division. Jamal countered from the floor, or exposes bias. Audit will show. Vote split 5-5, tabled again. Cheers muffled, but victory tasted Pyrrhic. Outside, rain slicked streets, Hunter's arm around me solid. Yet at home, distance crept, him checking phone more, me sketching alone. Then fracture. A week before audit, Cody showed at our door. Burly, buzz cut, preacher's son stamped in his scowl. Hunter home. Out. I lied, blocking frame. What do you want? to talk sense into him. This crusade is poison. Dad's had a spell. Doc says stress. Guilt twisted, but I held. Your stress, Cody. Not ours. He sneered. Ours? You're the gang ruining everything. Back off or I'll make sure you do. Door slammed, but echo lingered. Hunter returned, saw my face. He came. I nodded, words failing. He deflated. Low, maybe. Pause the fight. Till Dad calms. Pause. The word gutted. Pause us? Or just pretend? No. He reached, but I stepped back. Just time. Please. Silence stretched, brittle. Time's what got us here, Hunt. Hiding. He flinched. I'm not hiding. I'm protecting. From what? Love. Voice broke. I grabbed keys, stormed out. Rain lashing, tears mixing. Drove to Mia's, pounded door till she answered. Towel wrapped from shower. Girl trouble? She joked, then saw my face. Collapsed on her couch. Story spilled. Hunter's waver. Cody's threat. The ache of almost losing. She hugged fierce. Men. Always thinking chivalry's a shield. But Logan's, this is your stand too. Crashed there. Son's K-pop thumping comfort. Morning. Texts from Hunter. Miss you. Come home. But home felt adrift. Audit day dawned clear. Irony's joke. Community center packed. Reporters from the Tennessean. Local activists waving signs. Board fidgeted as auditor. A sharp-suited woman named Patel. Presented. Findings indicate systemic bias in enforcement. Recommendations. Diversity training. Independent oversight. Dissolution of current board. Karen erupted. Fabrication. They're the criminals. Chaos shouts. Gavel bangs. Cameras flashed. Jamal's recordings aired live on loop. By end. Board ousted. Interim elections called. Victory electric. But mine hollow. Hunter waited outside. Soaked in joy. We won, Lo? I nodded, distant. Yeah. But what about us? His face fell. I called Dad last night. Told him everything. About you. The fight. Me. Air whooshed. And said pray on it. Hung up. Shrugged. But eyes shone. It's a start. Relief flooded. Tentative. We hugged under oaks. Rain pattering leaves. Recommitment. Fragile. But fragility shattered 2 nights later. Anonymous email to the group. Photos? Hunter and Cody at a diner. Heads bent. Hunter deleting texts. Worst? Him at the bar. Slipping an envelope to a bored lackey. Caption, traitor in the ranks. Betrayal visceral. Mia called frantic. Logan? What the hell? I confronted him at dawn. Laptop thrust. Explain. He blanched. Lo. Now. Cody. Paid me to. Feed info. Early on. Thought it harmless, do stuff. Then I stopped. Told him no more. Stopped? This is dated last week. Voice rose, cracking. Insurance. To keep him off our backs. I swear. Nothing hurt us. Lies layered, trust eroded. You chose family over us. Again. No. He reached desperate. I choose you. Every time. But every time felt like erosion. I packed a bag, heart lead. Time hunt. Real time. Left for Mia's again, world blurring. Evergreen celebrated, new board sworn. Fines waived. But my north spun lost. Days bled. Group toasts without me. Hunter's texts. Please. Fight for us. Irony the fighter folding. Then twist, Patel called. Mr. Hale? New evidence on Whitaker. Wire fraud, due siphon to personal accounts. Your partner's tip led us there. Hunter, I dialed voicemail. Raced home, empty note. Gone to make it right. Love you. North. Panic clawed. Where? Army buddy? Dad's? Found him at the station, Ramirez's office statement in hand. Cody confessed, he said, haggard. Karen paid him to spy, plant doubts. The envelope? Recording device, for her. Truth cascaded. Cody? In debt? Roped in. Hunter playing double agent. Feeding fakes to protect us. I couldn't tell you. Risked blowing it. Forgiveness? Raw. Idiot, I whispered, hugging till ribs ached. Don't ever again. Promise. Kiss sealed, tear salted. But storm not over. Karen's arrest hit papers. Cuffs in her kitchen, embezzlement charges. Neighborhood exhaled. Gang vindicated, now heroes. Us. Rebuilt slow. Hunter quit the bar, joined a carpentry crew. Steady hands for unsteady hearts. We hung the flag straighter, fire pit roaring nights with allies. One evening, under stars, he knelt. Not proposal, just ringless vow. Marry this mess with me, lo? Laughter, yes. Humanistic arc. Not perfect, but whole. Wait, no. Wait. The real climax brewed deeper. Betrayal's echo lingering. For Evergreen healed, but scars? They shaped. Evergreen's rebirth was a spectacle. The kind of small-town redemption arc that made local news cycles hum for weeks. The new board, diverse, damn near revolutionary with Mia as vice chair and Jamal handling bylaws, hosted a block party that stretched from dusk till the fireflies danced. String lights twinkled legal now, no fines for excess illumination. And grills sizzled with ribs and veggie skewers, laughter drowning the ghost of Karen's clipboard tyranny. She was out on bail, her McMansion dark as her fortunes, facing trial for skimming dues into a slush fund for her husband's campaign. Irony's bitter cherry. I stood at the edge of it all, beer in hand, Hunter's arm loose around my waist, watching kids chase glow sticks while adults swapped stories of survival. To the gang, Mia toasted, clinking her solo cup against ours. Her son perched on Jamal's shoulders like a victory flag. The word gang had flipped. Once slur, now badge, spray painted on signs at the party entrance with rainbow drips. Hunter nuzzled my neck, breath tickling. Proud of you, Lo. This, your spark. Our, I corrected, turning to kiss him soft, public and unapologetic. The neighborhood's gaze a warm weight now, not wary, but pride mingled with ache. The betrayal's bruise lingered, a purpled reminder that trust rebuilt was sturdier but scarred. Cody's confession had unraveled the rest. Karen's web, paying neighborhood kin for dirt. Cody her reluctant pawn in gambling debts. Hunter's double play, slipping her dud info while tipping Patel anonymously, had cracked it wide. Hero shit, Mia called it, but Hunter shrugged it off, eyes shadowed. Just cleaning my mess. His mess. We talked it raw those first nights post-reveal. Me pacing the living room while he sat coiled on the couch, words tumbling like loose gravel. I thought protecting you meant handling it alone, he'd said, voice gravel. Like in the sandbox, cover fire, no questions. But I'm not your squad, Hunt. I'm your partner. The word landed heavy, redefining. We'd cried then, ugly and necessary, mapping boundaries. No more solos, full disclosure, therapy if army ghosts howled too loud. He'd started sessions at the VA twice weekly, coming home quieter but clearer. Doc says it's okay to choose myself. He'd share over dinner, fork midway to mouth. And me? Freelance boomed. Designs for queer orgs. Evergreen strong teas selling out at the party. Stability, tentative roots. But romance, that delicate beast, needed tending. We dated deliberate. Picnic at Radnor Lake, his hand in mine on the trail, skipping stones across water glassy as forgotten fights. Remember Austin? He'd tease, tossing a pebble that skipped for. You swore you'd never do sappy. Shut up and skip. I'd laugh, but inside, gratitude swelled. For him. For us, navigating the American dream's potholes. Love amid layoffs, identity in idle gossip. Fall deepened. Leaves carpeting Maple Lane in crimson confession. One Saturday, Hunter's truck rumbled up with lumber stacked high. Surprise! He grinned, unloading. That gravel path? Leveling it proper. No more Karen citations. I joined, hammer in hand, sweat beading as we framed a patio extension. Space for the fire pit, string lights legal, maybe a swing for lazy Sundays. His shoulder brushed mine, rhythm sinking. Dad called, he said casual, nailing a post. I paused, mallet midair. Yeah. Invited us for Thanksgiving. No sermons, just turkey. Heart stuttered. Us. Us. Smile crooked. Told him, take it or leave it. Progress, humanistic inch. I nodded, resuming swing. Proud of you. Dusk fell, project half done. Us sprawled on sawhorses with takeout pizza. Stars pricking velvet sky. His head on my shoulder. Voice low. Low, that night you left. Thought I'd lost north. Me too. Fingers laced. But we recalibrate. Kiss under cosmos. Slow burn reigniting. Emotional, not urgent. Love's quiet roar. But drama's shadow stretched. Trial prep unearthed more. Karen's list digitized. Emails to council pushing anti-LGBTQ bills, disguised as family values. Reporters swarmed. Tennessean profile. Suburban uprising. How a cul-de-sac fought back. We dodged mics, but fame's glare highlighted fractures. Hunter's bar buddies ribbed. Captain America now? Laughter masking unease. My inbox flooded support, sure, but trolls too. Faggots ruining America. Blocked, but they burrowed. Worse, Cody. Post-confession he'd vanished. Job quit, wife talking divorce. Hunter reached out, voicemails unanswered. He hates me. He confessed one night, rain lashing windows. Nah, hates the mirror. I held him, rocking. Forgive when ready. Not for him, for you. Thanksgiving loomed, tension taut. We drove to his folks' farm outside Franklin. Fields gold-stubbled, air crisp with wood smoke. His dad silver-haired, calloused hands. Met us at the door, nod stiff but eyes softer. Boys. No embrace but no cross either. Inside, awkward orbit. Mom fluttering with pies, siblings eyeing sidelong. Dinner sat heavy, small talk skating ice. Then Dad cleared throat. Heard about the neighborhood. Brave. Hunter froze, fork suspended. Yeah. Wrong what she did. Folks like you deserve fair shake. Paused, sipping tea. Proud son. Of that. Air shifted, dam breaking. Hunter's hand found mine under table, squeeze trembling. Tears pricked, not sobs but release. Thanks, Dad. Not absolution full but bridge. Drive home. Hunter wept quiet, joy and grief alloy. First time, he whispered. Ever. Home, we burned the note from his bag. Gone to make it right. Flames devouring doubt. Patio finished next weekend. Allies helping. Mia wielding drill, Jamal grilling test runs. Laughter echoed. Fire pit crackling inaugural logs. But climax brewed in winter's chill. Christmas neared. Evergreen aglow legal lights contests fair. No color codes. We hosted. Clara's ornaments. Lena's eggnog. Raj's Bollywood playlist clashing carols. Hunter carved ham. Apron ridiculous. Me sneaking kisses amid chaos. Mid-party doorbell insistent. I answered. Breath catching. Cody. Gaunt. Duffel at feet. Hunt. Hunter appeared. Face storm. What? Need to talk. Please. Voice cracked, not demand. We stepped porch, cold biting, party hum muffled. Words spilled. Cody's spiral. Debts. Divorce. Guilt's gnaw. Karen used me. But I used you worse. Sorry don't cut it. But it start. Hunter's jaw worked. Arms crossed. I hovered silent. Anchor. Why now? 'Cause Dad called. Said he's praying for all of us. Made me see. I lost north too. Hesitation. Then Hunter uncrossed. Pull into hug. Fierce. Backslapping. Idiot. Get in. Eggnog spiked. Relief rippled. Betrayal's last thread snipped. Inside. Toasts redoubled. Cody awkward but thawing. Sharing army tales sans shame. New Year dawned snow-dusted. Rare Tennessee white. We walked the block. Hands gloved. Breath clouds mingling. Full circle, Hunter said, stopping at the sign. Now amended. Home is where the heart chooses. Yeah. Kiss in flurry, romantic core. But humanistic truth. Hearts choose messy. Grace earned. Spring bloomed. Trial verdict. Karen guilty. Probation. Restitution. Neighborhood healed. But we, stronger woven. Yet one last conflict. Hunter's proposal, not knee but dawn hike. Ring simple, silver band etched compass. North with me. Yes. Tears, yes. Wedding small, allies witnesses, vows under oaks. In mess and mending. Life's drama. American tapestry. Love amid HOAs, betrayal to bond. Evergreen hours not perfect but home. Wait, by Kitsch Whispers? No cohow but depth, years on, kids fostered, fights remembered as fuel. Human, enduring. Years don't erase lines, but they soften edges. Turn battles to badges worn under flannel. 5 springs past Karen's fall. Evergreen had morphed. Community garden where her roses once reigned. Plots tended by the gang now elders. Mia's truck a fixture at farmers markets. Jamal coaching little league with BLM patches on caps. The rainbow flag on our porch had faded but flew steadfast, joined by a welcome mat embroidered all our north. Hunter and I, married 2 summers back. Ceremony in the backyard under those string lights. Vows exchanged with fireflies as confetti. I choose you, Logan Hale Reed, in every season, he'd said, voice steady, hazel eyes locked. No army ghosts, just us. Read his middle name, Hale mine, hyphen our bridge. Rings matched. Simple bands we'd engraved ourselves in his woodshop. Recalibrate. Life settled into rhythms American as apple pie with a twist. My design firm remote. Clients from Brooklyn to Boise craving authentic queer aesthetic. Hunter's carpentry crew building tiny homes for Nashville's unhoused. Hands calloused from giving. We fostered. First a teen named Alex, all sharp wit and sharper fears. Out like I'd been at his age. Crashing with us till college fund bloomed. Then siblings, the Waters girls, braids and boundless energy, teaching us chaos's charm. But drama, that old friend, circled back subtle. Dad's health waned, heart murmur turning to stents. Preacher's fire dimmed to embers. Hunter drove weekly. Me shotgun silent support. Farm visits laced with progress. Dad's handshake firmer. Questions about Alex's art. Boys got your talent, son. Cody, rebuilt slow. Sobriety, custody battle won. Showing at holidays with pie crust apologies. Forgiveness, not forget, human arc. One April dusk, storm brewing. Hunter came home late, truck mud splattered. Sight issue, he grunted, shedding boots, but eyes evaded old tell. Kitchen or couch? I asked. Wine poured, no judgment. He chose couch, sinking deep. Client today, big corporate gig. Condos downtown. Offered me lead foreman. Pride swelled. Hunt, that's huge. Take it. But. Jaw ticked. Exec shook my hand. Then discreet about the crew. Code for. Tone down the pride pins, maybe. The serpent in Eden, progress's price. And. Quit on spot. Told him North ain't for sale. My hero always. Pulled him close. Heart ache for the boy who'd enlisted to escape judgment. Proud. We'll pivot. Pivoted we did. Crowdfunded his tiny home project. North Star builds. Grants from queer foundations. Volunteers from Evergreen alums. Alex designed logo compass with house silhouette. Buzz grew. First home raised in June. Keys handed to a trans couple fleeing rural hate. Hunter's speech gravel voice. Homes not built on rules. It's chosen. Tears, ours included. That night, celebrating with pizza on the new patio. Expanded now with foster chaos. Alex quipped, you saps. Save the mush for vows 2.0. Laughter. But later, tangled sheets. Hunter whispered fears. What if it's never enough? The world's still crooked. Then we straighten what we can. Kiss, reassurance. Romance endured in gestures. Notes in lunchboxes, North today. Trail runs at dawn, hands linked. Summer scorched, HOA now ally. Annual Unity Fest, our baby. Booths for local LGBTQ plus youth. Panels on allyship. I moderated one, Hunter in audience. Thumbs up proud. But mid-talk, mic feedback screeched. Then shout from back. This is indoctrination. My taxes fund this. Karen. Released. Slimmer. Eyes wilder. Petition in fist for. Revert to traditional board. Bail conditions ignored. She'd rallied remnants. Blue hairs clutching pearls. Signs save our values. Gasps rippled. I gripped podium, voice even. Ma'am, this space is for healing, not hate. Leave or security will. She lunged, papers scattering, but Jamal and Raj flanked, gentle escort out. Outside, sirens wailed. Ramirez, retired but called in. Violation. Harassment order breached. Climax redux but matured. As cuffs clicked, Karen's wail. You ruined us. Not plea but accusation, her world, yes. Hunter met me post-fest. Embrace tight. You okay? Better than. Smile genuine. We won again. Fall brought harvest. Foster's settled. Alex off to Vanderbilt. Girls' adoption papers signed. Holiday lights twinkled sans fines. Dad at table. Carving turkey with tremor but grin. To family. He toasted, eyes including all. But emotion's depth plumbed winter. Hunter's nightmares resurfaced. PTSD flares from a build site collapse. Near miss, beam grazing. He woke gasping. Not again. Fists clenched. I held, murmuring anchors. Here. Safe. Therapy doubled. Us attending couples. Learning love's labor, vulnerability's valor. Spring, renewal. North Star's 10th home. Gala fundraiser at the community center. Irony sweet. Speeches flowed. Donors toasted. But Hunter pulled me aside. Garden nook. Lo, life's not plot, no tidy end. But with you, worth every twist. Kneel again? No, just ring twist, renewal vow. Forever north? Always. Kiss, snowmelt soft. Humanistic close nears. Not by kitsch but lived, scars stories, love labor. Evergreen, symbol not cage. Us. Enduring American tale. Gay hearts, beating defiant. Yet one echo. Karen's trial appeal denied. Community service at the garden. Planting beside those she targeted. Redemption, partial. She nodded once. Weeding beside Mia. Sorry. Small but seed. Years stack. Foster's launch. Us graying graceful. Hunter's beard silver-streaked. My sketches framed walls. Grandkids visit. Stories spun. Once, a Karen tried to evict love. Laughter, legacy. Romantic core. Hand in hand. Porch swing creak. Sunset gilding. Best plot, he murmurs. Best partner. Fade, not end. Life sequel. Decades don't dull the spark, but they fan it wider, turning personal flame to hearth. 30 years on, evergreen sign weathered but proud. Home is where the heart chooses. Stands sentinel, garden blooming riotous around it. Tomatoes from Karen's old plot shared at potlucks where her great niece, reformed, tattooed, flips burgers. The gang? Elders now, gray hairs and glory stories. Mia retired to food truck empire. Jamal mayor, Clara's murals town landmark. Us. Pillars, unyielding oak. Hunter and I traded the Maple Lane rental for a craftsman fixer-upper on Elm. His hands shaped it. My designs breathed soul. Rainbow transom over door. Tiny home replica in the yard for grandkids' sleepovers. Foster's long-launched. Alex, architect in Seattle, married with twins who FaceTime Papa Low for bedtime sketches. The Waters Girls. One lawyer dismantling biases. Other chef fusing flavors like Mia taught. Our blood? None but family woven thicker. Drama's embers glow soft now. Conflicts resolved to wisdom. Karen passed quiet, obituary noting community volunteer. Her service at the garden. Us attending, Hunter's hand in mine, closure's nod. She chose wrong, he said porchside after whiskey neat. But ended tending. Human nod. Grace for the graceless. Our arcs, romantic mainstay, emotional undercurrent. Mornings, coffee black, porch swing. His knee against mine, habits comfort. Remember the gravel? He'd tease, fingers laced. Path to here. Smile, lines crinkling mutual. But feelings' depth persists. Hunter's PTSD. Managed but murmuring in storms. Me holding through night sweats. Whispering north. Therapy evolved to legacy, mentoring vets at the VA. Our story in pamphlets. Love as anchor. One autumn. Golden as first fights. Alex called, "Coming home." With news. Flight landed, him and spouse towing U-Haul. Baby en route. Need grandparents' crash pad. Joy burst. Nursery painted hasty. Compass mural mine. Crib hunter's craft. Holding newborn first. Tiny fist clutching finger. North's got company. He choked. Tears silver. Winter solstice. Family gathered. Siblings. Cody. Cancer-scarred but stoic. Kids his legacy. Dad long gone but photo toasted. Lights twinkled. Stories looped. Karen's arrest is comedy now. Betrayal's sting is strength. Climax long past, but emotion peaks quiet. Hunter's vow renewal, our anniversary. Not grand, but lakeside, officiant Alex. Logan, in every recalibration, I choose you. Ring slide, kiss salt sweep. Vows echoed. Hunter, North eternal. Witnesses cheered, but our gaze held. Lifetime's plot, twists to triumph. Spring, garden work. Grandkid digs dirt, me sketching blooms, Hunter hammers trellis. Best life, he says, wiping brow. Best love. Hand squeeze, continuum. Humanistic end. Not fairy dust, but earned. America's grit, gay hearts unbowed. Betrayal, fertilizer. Conflict, catalyst. Romance, root. Fade on Swing Creek, sunset warm. Hearts synced. Home.